Good afternoon, everyone. I am here with the lovely Dr. Lynn Migdal, and she is a holistic breath and nerve flow doctor of chiropractic. She's an author, an international speaker and trainer, and has helped thousands to find their healthy, nutritional, emotional, and physical flow and increase their potential for happiness, peace, and health. Through her forgiveness and breath flow programs, she is known for assisting her clients to move through the pain and trauma that adversity affects their lives at home and in the work environment. Dr. Migdal is well regarded amongst her peers and community for her holistic views on fitness, health, and leadership. As an expert in the fields of wellness, chiropractic, Reiki, breathwork, and ballroom dancing, she is a sought after speaker, author, seminar trainer, and private consultant. So I am super excited to hear you talk about embracing the power of your inner flow. And I'm going to let you take the stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Is there anyone out there that would like some tools today that they could leave with and use rather than, I don't want to just inspire you or motivate you guys out there. I want to teach you things that can raise your levels of peace. So I know that our world is kind of at a tipping point right now, and these tools really need to go out into the world so that we can all realize that we are in control over our levels of peace. This is a leadership summit, so I welcome all leaders to think about putting their own oxygen mask on first. And really, we are all leaders, and that's what we are going to talk about today. And if you stick with me, you'll be able to receive a gift at the end, but actually these tools are a gift that you need to pass on to other people so that we can raise our levels of health, happiness, peace on the planet. Everybody with me today out there in cyberspace? Yeah.
Yay.
And the answer and the key to what I think, in my opinion, and my 40-something years of experience as a doctor and teacher, is about our flow. You see, the word resiliency gets thrown around a lot, and some people think it's about being strong, and it is. But resiliency is also about the ability to flow. And guess who leads your flow? You do. And before you can lead anyone else's flow, we have to master our own flow. So this talk is for children, for parents, for teachers, whether you have a business, you're in charge of people in the community or government, please pass this information down because it's vital to everyone who is on the planet right now, who is interested in, what can I do? There's so much out there. There's so much stress out there that we're not in control over. But our flow back to peace, we're in control over. Our thoughts, our posture, our breath habits. These are things that we're going to go over today so that you could learn how to control your own flow, or just to surrender to the fact that you are in control of something. And that is your states of health and wellness and your states of peace, and it's all affected by your ability to flow. So I hope you meet my friend Flo today, because she's available 24/7. You can choose her. You can't leave home without her. She's always there for you. So she's really your best friend. I'm going to take some time right now to take you into chiropractic school and for you to look at some graphics from medical textbooks so that you could first understand, why am I teaching about flow today? And I want you to see, and I want you to look, and it might be a little dry for some of you, but don't worry, We're going to have some fun and we're going to move and we're going to breathe and we're going to flow and you're going to master tools. But first, I really believe that seeing is believing. And in our world today, a lot of us don't understand that we were born for health. Let's see if I can get this slideshow on. I have my glasses here. From the beginning, no. This is something that I have a problem with, so I have to learn how to flow more with PowerPoint when the slideshow won't come on. Anyway,
It's on. You're good.
it's on, it's just not on show. So the main thing is that you look at your anatomy right now. The art and power of our natural flow is what we're talking about today. How to enhance the power that is inside you. When we look at the nervous system, we see that everything that is inside our body has to flow in order to be healthy. So the picture on the right is a picture of the autonomic nervous system. And on the right side of that chart is the spinal column. Chiropractors check the bones in the body to see if there's any nerve interference, any pressure on any nerve. And we use light, gentle forces to move the bone away from the nerve pressure. These spinal nerves that come out of the spinal column go to every single cell, organ, and system. And we're hooked up like a telephone pole. So just think of the brain as, a telephone company, and no one had to drag you out on your lunchtime at 1 o'clock and say, here, learn about the skull. We kind of know that if we hit our head and all the discussion about concussions and emotions, and it really is the main key to everything, is to start to honor the flow of your brain to your cell area. And that's the autonomic nervous system. But what's getting a lot of traffic on Google today is the vagus nerve. So I thought that I would show you the vagus nerve. So you don't have to go on Google right now. You're in an anatomy class. And I want you to honor this nerve, because this nerve is the most holistic nerve in the body. And it also, just like the spinal nerves to the right, comes out of the brain, but it has a different pathway. It's called the wanderer because it's the longest nerve in the body, and it comes down from the brain and it communicates with all the organs as well. And it also is in charge of our inflammation, affects our levels of natural immunity. And for today's talk, because we are talking about raising our levels and flowing peace, is that it controls our hormonal reaction to stress. We're going to, when we get away from anatomy, I'm going to show you the pathway, the vagus nerve, because our posture with our cell phones, the little cell phone man on the left top here, is putting pressure on valuable spinal nerves in our upper back and neck. But most important, it's causing pressure to your vagus nerve. So everybody's looking up, how to stimulate the vagus nerve and what can I do for my vagus nerve? Well, the first thing you could do for the vagus nerve is change your posture, because all the nervous system needs from you is to allow it to flow. Think about it. We know our bowels have to flow. We don't feel real good if they don't. The urinary system has to flow. Your breath has to flow. Everything is motion and flow inside the body. And when things get stuck and disease happens is when we are not flowing in a particular area. So the cell phone man on the top left, not only is he hurting his neck there by having his head down, and by the way, when that head is down off of the chest cavity in front of the shoulders, like most of us look at our phones or computers, it is also 30 pounds heavier on the brainstem than when you are upright and the area is open throat and open chest. We're going to talk a lot about posture flow today because it's something you are in control over. You know, one of the roads to peace is to accept the things we can't control and to have the wisdom to control the things we can. What I'm talking about today are some simple tools, some simple gifts for your nervous system so that it will raise its level of functioning. A lot of people think this is about pain in chiropractic, and they haven't studied the nervous system to realize that the nerves to the organs need to be healthy for your organs to function at their highest potential. So if you are leading other people, it's important that you know this so that you can trickle down these facts on wellness so that your staff or your employees or your community or your school can start to have less sick days. So they can be higher functionable. But most of all with this vagus nerve, when you can change the posture of who you lead and change your own, of course, first, but teach them this simple tricks that you're going to learn today, you'll see that they have a higher level of emotional fitness, nutritional fitness, and total wellness. I'm going to go to the next slide here. And we're going to also be learning about the breath today, but I wanted to go over the anatomy first so you can know I'm just not pulling this out of the hat. Chiropractors study 5 years and we study from medical textbooks. So I'm not making this stuff up. This is you. What I really want you to, I hope, get addicted to, enjoy, is that you lead the dynamic duo inside you, which is breath and posture. And the reason it's dynamic is when you start to understand that an open throat posture, an open chest posture helps your vagus nerve and all your spinal nerves to communicate with your organs, you'll realize that the breath is leading you to higher functioning. Also, when you breathe properly and have healthy breathing habits and posture, your brain gets more oxygen and the nervous system gets reset holistically. So breath work is another word that's a swing word and a fad today. So Google, people Googling the vagus nerve, they're also Googling breath work. I'm lucky because when I graduated chiropractic school, I became a breath worker. So the breath mechanism, the posture and the breathing and breath work that we'll talk about a little bit later are ways for you to have higher functioning. You see, leaders can't fake it till we make it. We have to live it and speak it and teach it in order for people to realize that they can do this too. So you don't have to be a leader to lead your breath and lead your posture. But a leader that's not leading his breath and posture is not able to flow. And when you don't flow, the leader could get sick, stressed out. And when that happens, who are you good for? So you mothers out there, all your single ladies or anyone in business, anyone that can influence another, when you start to breathe and flow in beautiful open throat, open chest posture, you will be like a yawn. You ever been around anybody who's yawning? You know, you start to yawn. People get near me and they go, oh my God, I'm starting to stand up taller. The more you do it, the easier it becomes to have this open breath posture. Just want to go over, we're gonna, the slide on the right bottom is the diaphragm. And you need to know for this slide, there is no air that goes below your diaphragm. So those of you that are making a mistake and spending too much time blowing out your belly while you are breathing, we need to get the air into the full lungs, which is on top of the diaphragm. More physical tools and demonstrations will be after we get over these slides, which we're going to take a break from the slide soon. But on the bottom left, I want you to understand that your ribs and your rib muscles hook into your vertebrae in your back. So enhancing your core is what breath flow is about. Every single breath, you are doing a strengthening exercise for the vertebral muscles and vertebrae that will hold you up the rest of your life. So I'm not trying right now to hold myself. My body's holding itself up because I'm a conscious breather. And did I tell you that I'm addicted to flow? And I hope after today, you will become a flow addict as well. So this is the last slide for this section right now, if I can change it, because we were created to be healthy and happy and peaceful and well and strong, and our stress levels are what get in the way and disempower us from this nervous system flowing, from this brain working as strong as it can be. So a healthy leader will be more successful than an unhealthy leader. Someone who has command of their breath and their posture and their higher functioning from the brain to the cell will succeed in leadership. But if people think that it's not about their own internal state, they're missing the boat in leadership. The man on the left, how many times have you been in terrible compressed posture, receiving unhappy news, clenching all your muscles, pinching your nervous system, and stopping your own flow from doing what it was created to do? So we can't all lay around like the guy on the bottom, but he's having a breath work session, and that's how we can rejuvenate. But not everybody's going to do this. So today's class is really about how do you breathe fully all day long and make that choice to breathe all day long. Okay. Am I back full screen, Randy?
You are.
Okay, it's good. I just can't see myself, so that's fine with me. I know I'm just supposed to look into this bright light here, and I'm trying my best to do that. So, was that too heavy for everybody? I don't think so. I think people can handle more than 30 seconds of information or 3 minutes of information. I think that you're important. Your nervous system is important. And if we can enhance the flow of the nervous system and the brain and oxygen today, then I've done my job. So let me go a little bit back to anatomy, but more on the body. So the nerves, I talked about the vagus nerve, and I've been teaching this for over 40 years. And if people don't have pain, they think that they don't have a compressed nervous system, when in fact, half of the nervous system does not have pain receptors. So you could be full of cancer, you might not have any symptoms at all and might not have any pain. They open people up all the time and say, my God, this has been growing for 30 years. So our mind sometimes does not tell us the state of our nervous system, because pain is not a symptom that is going to tell you that, yeah, you're functioning at your highest level. So let's talk a little bit about posture, and I'll be the live demonstration for you today. So we know about the brain, and it was created to protect something soft. I'm sorry, the skull was created to protect the brain. That, that's a given. But unfortunately, in our society, we kind of cut off and don't think about anything else. And the spine is an extension of your skull. And these spinal nerves and all the muscles that you need to breathe fully are extremely important to your ability to lead, but most important for you to stay healthy before a major disaster or crisis hits you, because everyone looks to the leader or to the parent or to the teacher or to the principal. And right now we're looking inside of us right now to see what can we strengthen to make us strong now so that we could be prepared for a crisis. Let's face it, disasters are happening all the time on our news, and stress is rising. natural disasters are becoming common. We have wars and shootings and all kinds of things that are going on, and it's up to us to be able to flow and stay strong before crisis hits. Because these tools that we're going to go over right now will keep you healthy and strong during a crisis. And then after a disaster or crisis, these same tools can help you to thrive afterwards. This is important because our levels of stress are on the rise, and everyone who's scrolling and looking and searching outside of themselves need to realize the answers for everything usually that we seek are inside us. I'm called the Holistic Flow Doc because what I'm teaching you today is nutritional flow, emotional flow, physical flow. Because unless you work on all three in your body and leave something, if you leave something out, then you can have a pinched nerve. We have to choose postures that allow our nervous system to flow. The win-win here, remember I said dynamic duo of successful flow is breath and nerve flow. But the win is they're the same posture. So I'm only going to really teach you one posture today in this short time that we have to share together. So when our shoulders are back and down and our ears are in alignment with our shoulders, not forward and down like you see most humans today, open throat, open chest posture is the area of the vagus nerve can flow. So let me go over that just so you'll know that. Just track back a little bit with me right now. The vagus nerve comes out of the brain just like the spinal nerves do, but it has a tract that goes in front of you here. So the vagus nerve comes around and goes from the back of your head into the front. There's two of them. They go down and they have to go under your collarbone here. They feed the heart, the lungs, the stomach, and the upper organs here. And then they pierce the diaphragm that's right here in the chest area and then start to work on the lower organs of the body. That's why it's called the wanderer, the longest nerve, because it goes from here all the ways to your pubic bone. When we sit twisted, mousing all day, we are possibly compressing. Some spinal nerves and the vagus nerve can be under pressure. You might not have any pain or numbness in your hands to have what we call tech neck, and it's from having the head down. The other problem is the cell phone. And many of you who are going to see this today go, oh, yeah, that's Dr. Lynn. She's always talking about the phones. And I do. I go up to strangers all day long. I can't stop myself when I'm around people that are disempowering themselves. And if you want to lead, parents, children are watching. They're copying what you're doing. You're leading your children for them to think that this less brain power, less ability to breathe down here, and less nerve flow, less emotional fitness, nutritional fitness, and wellness is okay. Because whatever mommy and daddy does, little kids start to follow. What about you guys who are leading in business right now, and maybe you're spending lots of money on training, and your employees are not happy, your staff's not happy? This could be the reason why, because if the vagus nerve is under pressure from the one-sided text that they're doing under their desk, and they don't know because you haven't given them a wellness class to come on board and teach people that this is not heavy. Most of them go to the gym, they go to yoga. Yes, you need flexibility to get it up to eye level. It's almost like I have to do, are you ready for cell phone fitness? Because it has to go up to eye level and be in two hands to be able to send a text without interfering with your full breath flow and the communication flow from your brain to the cell area. So, why are people looking down and disempowering themselves? Or forget about the rest of the world. I'm talking to you today. Why are you disempowering yourself? Is it too heavy? Aren't you lifting more at the gym? So what goes on is that when I say pick the phone up, people pick it up like a selfie because they're used to doing that. Yeah, I'll pick up the cell phone if I'm looking at myself or putting on lipstick. But in actuality, this thing is the same weight as your water bottle. So let's try that right now. Let's get our shoulders back and down. Let's get our ears in alignment with our shoulders. And let's feel how it feels to take full, deep breaths. I like people to touch their breath and their bones and their muscles because it is an exercise. And when you put your hands on your chest, you'll realize that we breathe. When you breathe in, there is expansion of the chest, and the chest cavity also elongates. With every breath, I'll repeat again, we're exercising our back muscles. So let's just take some full breaths in this open posture and touch it and feel the motion. Let's breathe in and out the nose, maybe for 4 and out for 6. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. Try not to do like short gasps, like you realize you're not breathing, and then people try to catch up by going, or their head is down too much during the day and they try to catch up, so they go all the way back. Neutral is where you flow, back to flow. We want the brain and the nerves to flow. We want the oxygen to flow. See, a leader who is on his phone with his head down and twisted, and everybody do this because, as I said, you lead your breath. You're the captain of your breath. And yes, we can't control the wind, but we can set the sails right now by setting your posture so that you can stay as a leader, have higher focus, memory, stay calm in the middle of insanity, and stay strong and healthy at the same time. But if a leader is choosing down and twisted, that leader is disempowering levels of resiliency, strength, and emotional fitness and wellness. And that's what a leader really needs. So let's demonstrate this because I want you to do this with your children and your staff. This is something I want you to take into the world and pass it on because it's so important for peace and health. And it's what we all need right now. We need to raise our levels of peace and health. So you took a breath and you felt it with your hands. Take another breath, maybe through in through the nose and out through the mouth, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Another one. Okay, now go into your normal cell phone posture. Head down, twisted. Don't move anything or change anything, and take that deep breath again. Doesn't feel so good, does it? Because you are constricting the space. This isn't rocket science. Open space, things flow. Closed down posture, things don't flow. And what happens is that when we are listening to negativity, or we're around someone who's negative, our choice sometimes is, I don't want that energy, so you contract, when in actuality, if you're going into contraction, you are suppressing your immune system. You are weakening yourself. So let's do this again, because I want you to pass this down. You take a person, put them shoulders back and down, ears in alignment with their shoulders, open throat, open chest, hands on the chest, feel the muscles of the breathing mechanism. Take a couple breaths. head down, twisted, get them on their one-sided texting, because that's the worst one when you're one-sided and you're down. Take a breath. And that's it. People have to choose whether they want to breathe or not. So yes, I have done therapeutic breath work, and it has helped me to heal from sexual abuse, emotional abuse, food abuse, and I lay down and breathe almost every day. But right now in this world, it's important for everyone to practice with their cell phone, because if you can't hold this up and this thing is too heavy for you, I think you need to get a new gym trainer. If it feels too stuck when you breathe it up and it's kind of like all constricted, then maybe you need some different stretches and different yoga. But you know what? If you could put your hands on your head and move your hair, that's the same motion. Or drink a water bottle, same motion. Touch your eye, hands to eye level. It's really not rocket science. I'm teaching something extremely simple, but with major powerful results. I'm very lucky because I was trained in chiropractic school on what posture heals and helps the nervous system to flow back to peace, to have higher functioning on all levels, and brain fitness. And those tools and that posture is what helped me to be strong before I had to move through a major crisis. And as I said, healthy breath and nerve flow, the dynamic duo that the posture brings, is also what can take you into higher levels of wellness. So it's something simple. And again, I have my computer on a stand. I have a wireless mouse, because if you raise your computer up to eye level to have this open shoulders and open throat posture, you'll be like this if you don't get a wireless keyboard and mouse. So there's a lot of little tools that you can do during the day. Check in with your breath. Since the nervous system half doesn't have pain receptors, how are you going to know whether you're doing it right? If you can fully breathe and your breath flow is easy and full, then you know you're in the right posture. But if you are down and mousing all day long and then remember to breathe, you'll realize that you're in a constricting posture. So I'm going to go back to sharing the screen here. Okay, where am I? I'm here. Okay, so in review, the healthy, empowering leadership posture is what enhances your flow on a physical level that has holistic benefits. Because when you use this posture, you are allowing your nervous system to flow besides your breathing muscles and bones. And when your nervous system flows, your body and your life starts to flow. That's right, your life. So we have to choose where we are emotionally all day long. And leaders, it's a constant thing, because we have to say, where am I? Am I in the future negative, holding on to something I can't control? That's pinching your nervous system. And if you're worrying a lot, you're probably contracting your muscles instead of opening your posture and allowing everything, your brain, your breath, and your nerves to flow. How about the rest of you that are stuck in the past, resenting, angry about what happened in the past, and you're like resistant to forgive and let go? That energy, they know resentment can have stuck cells happen in your body, and psychoimmunoneurology is something that the medical profession has already proved that resentment and anger could down your immune system and cancer can grow. The opposite is true. Laughter, and I apologize for not being so funny. I always feel like I have to give this information out as fast as I can and as real as I can so that you'll get it. that we all need to change what we need to change that's in our way, whether it's releasing our past, forgiving, be more in the now that we are in control over. And if we are going to go into the future, we can visualize where we want to go and feel the feelings of what we want to create. And that helps the nervous system. The brain doesn't even know the difference when you're doing visualization and feeling that visualization than the reality. So it's really up to us. So I'm going to test you now. Did I tell you there was a little quiz going on here? Okay, shoulders back and down, ear in alignment with your shoulders so that everything is open. Flow your breath, open chest, relax your belly. See, when you breathe in, the diaphragm has to drop. If your colon is not flowing and you have a big belly, then you're making it harder for your diaphragm to do the job that it was created to do. Shoulders back and down. I want you to breathe and flow because I'm training you right now as if you're a leader, whether you are one or not. And if you are a leader, you're someone who is constantly receiving information, good and bad, all different directions, responsible for a lot of people or just your family. But we are hearing and feeling, and what we do with what we're hearing and feeling could either pinch a nerve, or you could be your own chiropractor. Put myself out of business. And you could unpinch a nerve. That's right. Good posture, good thoughts, good diet can unpinch the nervous system. When people go to the chiropractor and they don't make changes chemically, emotionally, and physically, it's like we're a natural Band-Aid because we want you to come in for wellness care so that you will stay healthy. While you are listening and breathing right now, let's just take some time to calm down. Forget about whatever happened before you got here. Just spend a little time relaxing all the muscles of your body. Breathe and flow, flow and breathe. And this is a training right now to be able to see and hear, like things that you see on the news every day now, but to choose and embrace and enhance your core flow, to breathe and flow and allow your brain to flow to the cells, no matter what life is presenting to you. Breathe and flow, flow and breathe, because I want to tell you that on July 12th, 2012, these tools were tested that I was already teaching. And there was a mudslide in British Columbia. And just in seconds, my two homes went under 32 feet of mud. And my two daughters, 17 and 22 years old, and their father died instantaneously. Breathe and flow, flow and breathe. You see, since 2012, you've seen a lot of homes destroyed. You've heard about a lot of parents who lose children. And by the way, it's supposed to be the highest pain, trauma, and tragedy that a human can go through. When I was faced with having to be highly functionable during rescue and recovery, I had to choose my open breath posture so that my nerves can flow, so that I could stay alert in this crisis and be able to even talk to rescue and recovery and the first responders. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't feel. So don't get me wrong, because feelings and expressing your feelings are the most important thing you could do. One of the most important things you could do for your nervous system besides changing your posture. So we want to honor all our feelings. When I say that my shoulders are back and down and I have an open space and I'm deciding to choose breath and nerve flow while listening and feeling, I was deciding not to faint from my feelings. I had to decide when I started to feel like, I don't know, I can't walk and these big men are holding me while they're taking me through my property. And I realized, but more important, my tools kicked in that I already had been doing for over 30 years and teaching this stuff. So I had to walk my talk. It went on instantaneously. And these tools are in that book, Eternal Love Connections. It's called A Mother's Resilient Grief Journey. And a lot of what we talked about is in that book. Parents who lose children, unfortunately, are told that they are in the worst category for chronic grief, and that a lot of them get sick because they don't, I think, feel their feelings and start to do healthy things for themselves. They don't take care of themselves. So how you are before a disaster has to do with how strong you'll be during and whether you will thrive afterwards. Leaders, you got to take care of yourself. You're in the midst of this all the time. The people that are under you are watching this stuff on the news, and humans don't have the tools. They don't know that flow is their friend that they can choose to go into a healthy breath and nerve flow now. Prepare yourself, your family, your business, your community, your country, or whoever else is listening today. Know that you have a choice, and it's time to prepare now. On a lesson note, take a breath, breathe and flow, because we're still with the breath. I was brought up in a very dysfunctional house, not to give you the whole story because of time, because we're closing down this class. This page is showing the person, the doctor who still went out and talked, even though she was 75 pounds heavy, but I was 70 pounds heavier than I am now from the age 4 to the age 57. Before the mudslide, I had experienced a weight loss, and I had been on 1,000 diets. I've been on yo-yo diets on and off the scale, but never was able to maintain a weight loss. So I decided just to stay 75 pounds and be happy with that rather than go up and down. But this time, something magical happened to me before the mudslide. And I lost all this weight, and it was about 6 months before this disaster. And I was the healthiest, the happiest, and the strongest I ever was. And I was using my breath to figure out when I was full. And then when I took off the weight, I used my breath space that you just learned to maintain the weight loss. So the Pleasurable Breath Weight Lifestyle is a book. And what it's about, just to summarize real fast, is that your most pleasurable breath posture that we've been talking about now since we have been together is the same posture that can keep you to maintain your breath weight. If I gain 5 or 7 pounds now, I feel like I'm suffocating. I know I'm not, and I know heavy people can breathe, but is it pleasurable? I'm into the pleasure of breath, and I would love to have you also be in the pleasure of breath. You have to use your breath in order to do this. So this is about putting the spoon down, taking some breaths before eating, taking some breaths during the meal, and stopping when your breath is starting to shorten up. So you want to start this during a weight loss, and then you want to carry this tool around. It's just an extra tool besides the scale. And you know the scale. I mean, you could eat a pizza and lose weight, and then you could be on a great diet and gain 5 pounds. Sometimes the scale is not our friends. And believe me, I know. I still use food as a drug. Food was my safety as a child. But without this technique, with the mudslide and all the trauma and the emotions that I've gone through in the past 12 years, I should be like 400 pounds. But because of my addiction to how good and great it feels to have full and free flowing breath and nerve flow. I only gained 5 or 7 pounds. I never gained back the 65 pounds extra. So, okay, what is holistic breath flow? Well, it's something I'd like to invite you into, because I have found over the 40-something years that I've been teaching this is that unless people work on their emotional heart and become heartful, not just mindful, like we can say we forgive, but then part of it says, but we don't forget. Forgiveness and appreciation and gratitude are 3 emotions that the nervous system thrives on. So I have created ways through using breath work, breath flow, to allow people to go through the feelings and then have the power to release forgiveness and joy up and bring them up to higher levels of love. You see, when you lay down and you breathe, like the people on the right, and this is done, I suggest privates. I know people are getting certifications really quickly online. I had to go through, I told you, I've been doing this for 40 years. So I take therapeutic breath work very serious. This is when you're laying down and pumping your breath for a whole hour. You need support at least 10 or 20 times before you can do it on your own. So I invite you today to call me or go on my website and mention this leadership summit. If you want a free half-hour consult with me, calling it a breakout session, because we will go through one of your barriers and you will learn, just like you learned today in a short time. You could learn a lot with me in a half hour about what is in your way of producing higher levels of health and wellness or emotional, nutritional fitness. And it all goes together. The holistic breath work means that everything flows when your breath flows. So you could also contact Randy. She has my information if you weren't able to get this now. How are we doing on time? Okay, here we are, and she's back. So
Fantastic.
I know she already has questions for me. I saw that on her face. But what? Yes, you have a couple of questions before I close?
No, I don't. I have comments, not questions, but I didn't know that you could actually control your weight loss from breathing. Like breathing sounds like it's so powerful that we really have to master this skill, because there's just so many elements that you can control.
You know, it's called the pleasurable breath weight lifestyle. So there's no guilt. You enjoy whatever you're eating, but you are incorporating the breath with that. The more you breathe, the more you breathe. So the more you choose it, and the more you choose it, you'll pick this up automatically, because it'll be down here, because it will be down here. I mean, we hold our breath, we breathe, we flow, we go into negative, we flow back to peace, we might eat some toxins, and then we might eat some good food. We're flowing in and out of things. So when it's down and you remember to breathe, you'll feel it and you'll pick it up. But to tell you the truth, this is an act of self-love. It's an act of self-forgiveness. And that's why people need private sessions and trainings, because people who go through programs with me, they can go through making these changes easily because they've already healed the reason why they're overeating. And it's a journey. It's a journey, and it's a never-ending journey. I mean, it's not like I can't, like an alcoholic or a drug person, but I have to buy food. I have to eat. It's not like I can't put it in my house or look at it. Now, of course, I don't really buy bread or cheese anymore because that I can't handle. I know certain things. But using the breath, I just have to tell you that the vagus nerve also controls your digestion. So when you're in this open breath posture, nutritional fitness raises.
Mhm.
And the emotions get better when the vagus nerve is attended to. And I'm very thankful to chiropractic school for teaching me that
Mhm.
and to helping me way before the mudslide with breathing and the vagus nerve to go through major trauma. But I still overstuff sometimes, have just coming out real. It's still one of my drugs.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I want to acknowledge, sorry for your loss, and you've taken a very terrible traumatic event and turned it into something positive where you can help other people. So kudos to you for making that change and being aware and wanting to help others. So thank you for that. And yeah, it's nice to hear how powerful breath can be and controlling. So please connect with Dr. Lynn and learn how this can make your life better in so many different ways, whether it's your personal life or your business life. Just learning these tools can really help you on your day to day. So please connect. And thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. It was very informative.
Thank you for having me, and I wish everyone out there to meet my friend Flo and to choose flow with our minds, our thoughts, to flow our foods better, to flow our breath, and to realize that we are the leader of all these things that I just talked about, and it really is up to every single one of us. Please call me for that half-hour session. It's free, and we can see if we could work together and see if I can help you, because not everyone is for everybody. So
Absolutely.
thank you
Absolutely.
so much. The breath in me honors the breath in you, lady, who put this all together. And thank you for honoring this information and allowing this to go forward.
Well, thank you, and excited for people to connect with you. It's a very generous offer that you made. So thank you for making that. They get free time with you. And I hope they're going to take advantage of it because it's well worthwhile. So thank you again,
Thank you.
and looking forward to the next time.
All righty. Good to see you.
Thank you.